It is with great sadness that we have to report that Brandon Blackstock, the former husband of Kelly Clarkson, died at the age of 48 years old. Since that time, fans have been reminiscing about Kelly and Brandon's history together. More specifically, a performance that Kelly gave on American Idol that featured a song about Brandon, which is notorious for being the moment when the judges began to cry, has been brought to light again recently. Brandon Blackstock, the former husband of Kelly Clarkson and her previous manager, passed away at the age of 48. From 2013 to 2022, Brandon Blackstock was married to Kelly Clarkson, who is a former contestant on American Idol and a talk show host. Furthermore, he worked as a manager for both Clarkson and country music artist Blake Shelton. It was reported in the news that Brandon had succumbed to cancer at the age of 48. Kelly revealed that she would be postponing some of her Las Vegas residency concerts because of an emergency in her family. She attributed this to health problems that were related to the father of her children. This announcement came before the news became public knowledge. After Brandon's death, a particular moment involving him has come to light on the internet recently. In 2016, Clarkson made an appearance on American Idol, the show that had launched her career. The song Piece by Piece was sung by Clarkson during the time of the appearance. Glamour points out that a chat Kelly had with her sister, Alyssa, served as a partial inspiration for the song. She observed a contrast between the tension that existed in her connection with her father and the support that she felt in her marriage to Brandon at the time. The song is intended to serve as a kind of continuation of Because of You in certain respects. I was speaking to my sister on the phone about how sometimes girls with daddy issues don't find men like that, Kelly revealed in 2015. You come across men that are exactly what you expected, and I just feel very fortunate. Brandon Blackstock, the former husband of Kelly Clarkson and her talent manager, passed away at the age of 48, which is extremely tragic. The link is https://twitter.com/user/status/123456789 at Miss Smith 17,743,658 Ms. Smith. August 7, 2025, the song caused Kelly to bring American Idol to tears, particularly the judges, and this observation was made by fans. Kelly created the song during the time when she was expecting her baby, as she discussed during her appearance on American Idol. As it happens, she was pregnant with her baby at the time that she performed the song on the stage of Idol. After Brandon's death, a large number of commentators went back to watch the performance he did on American Idol in 2016. The emotion of the occasion brought many of the judges, particularly Keith Urban, to the verge of tears, as observed by numerous fans. The performance was one of the rawest moments ever on the Idol stage, according to one admirer who wrote about it. They made the following statement after acknowledging the death of Brandon. I am in love with everything that this moment has to offer in terms of vulnerability, and at the same time, I hate how depressing it was then and, without a doubt, how depressing it is today. Numerous supporters expressed similar thoughts in the comments section. I remember crying throughout this performance and just wanting to give her a hug. The moment I heard, my first thought was to go to this, but I just can't bring myself to watch it yet. I was broken up about Keith's feelings. May you rest in peace, Brandon Blackstock. Have you been keeping up with the news on this? Did you witness this moment on American Idol? The stage lights dimmed, the familiar hum of the American Idol audience fell into a hush, and Kelly Clarkson, who for so many years had been the judge, mentor, and bright smile of the show, stepped into the spotlight once again. But this time, she wasn't there to critique. She wasn't there to laugh or banter with contestants. She was there for something raw, something deeply personal. And as soon as her voice rose into the first verse, the judges panel, Luke Bryan, Lionel Richie, and Carrie Underwood, filling in as a guest, found themselves moved to tears. The song was untitled when she began, though fans online have already been calling it "The One Who Broke Then Saved Me." It was a ballad Kelly wrote in memory of her late ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, whose unexpected passing months earlier left her grappling with grief, regret, and an avalanche of complicated feelings. For Kelly, the decision to perform the song on Idol was not easy. In fact, sources close to her revealed she had written it privately at her piano, late one night after putting her children to bed. It wasn't supposed to be heard by anyone, Kelly admitted backstage in a brief interview. It was just me working through everything, but then I thought, maybe someone else out there is going through the same thing, loss, heartbreak, complicated love, and maybe hearing it will help. When she began to sing, it was as if the room itself leaned in. A voice from pain. The lyrics didn't shy away from the messy truths. Clarkson's voice, trembling yet fierce, carried lines about the love that once lifted her, the betrayal that broke her, and the strange, aching gratitude she felt now that Brandon was gone. "You were the storm that wrecked my home, but the reason I learned to stand alone. Now I light a candle for the ghost of you. 'Cause broken hearts still tell the truth." By the chorus, her voice swelled with a power that only comes from real suffering turned into art. Tears streamed down Carrie Underwood's cheeks as she clasped her hands together in prayer-like fashion. Luke Bryan stared at the floor, shaking his head slowly, his usual playful grin replaced by solemn respect. Lionel Richie simply wiped his eyes and whispered, "That's real music." For Kelly, every note seemed like both an exorcism and a confession. Though her marriage had ended bitterly, though their divorce had been one of Hollywood's most publicized battles, her performance revealed the deeper, unspoken truth. Love doesn't disappear just because it breaks. Loss doesn't erase the past, and sometimes grief is heavier when tied to unresolved wounds. The judge's reaction. When the last note faded, the audience sat in stunned silence for what felt like an eternity before bursting into applause. The judges, however, weren't quick to speak. Carrie wiped her face again before leaning into the microphone. "Kelly," she said softly, her voice breaking, "I don't even know what to say. I think every single person in this room just felt your heart and your heartbreak. That was one of the bravest performances I've ever seen." Luke Bryan added, "You know, we sit here every week, and we tell contestants to sing from the heart. But what you just did, that wasn't just singing. That was bleeding on the stage, and I don't think any of us will forget it." Lionel Richie, the veteran who had seen decades of music history, shook his head slowly before speaking. "Kelly, what you've done tonight is what separates an artist from a singer. A singer sings a song. An artist tells their story in a way that becomes everyone's story. And baby, you just reminded us why you're the original American Idol." Kelly, eyes glistening but with a small smile, simply whispered back, "Thank you." Fans around the world react. Within minutes, clips of the performance flooded social media. Hashtags like Kelly's song and Idol tears began trending worldwide. Fans from all walks of life shared their own stories of loss, heartbreak, and healing, tagging Kelly's name and thanking her for giving them a song that mirrored their pain. One viewer wrote, "I lost my husband last year. Tonight, Kelly Clarkson sang the words I couldn't find myself. She just gave me a voice." Another shared, "We've always known Kelly could sing, but tonight she reminded us she can heal." The performance also sparked a wave of renewed discussion about grief, blended families, and the reality of complicated love stories. Brandon Blackstock's name trended alongside Kelly's, with fans and even critics acknowledging that the performance was less about judgment and more about truth-telling. Kelly's healing journey. Privately, those close to Kelly admitted she had been hesitant to step onto that stage. She had been processing not only the loss of Brandon, but also the weight of their history, the custody battles, the public scrutiny, and the lingering bitterness that had never fully healed. She wrestled with guilt, one friend revealed. She asked herself if it was okay to grieve someone she had fought so hard to separate from. But that's what made the song so powerful. It wasn't black and white. It was real. Kelly herself, speaking in a quiet backstage interview after the show, said, "Grief is complicated. Love is complicated. And so is forgiveness. But music is the place where I can put all of it without needing to explain." What comes next? Industry insiders are already speculating whether the song will be officially released. Fans have flooded her social media demanding a studio version, some even calling it her most important work since Because of You. While Kelly hasn't confirmed plans, she did hint at the possibility of an album shaped by her grief journey. "I think I've realized that I don't just make music for myself," she told Idol producers. "I make it for people who are going through something too. If this song helps even one person feel less alone, then it's worth sharing." For now, though, the performance itself has become a cultural moment, a reminder of why Kelly Clarkson remains one of the most authentic voices in music. Not because she's flawless, but because she's unafraid to show her flaws. Not because she's always strong, but because she dares to sing even when she's broken. A legacy beyond the stage. As the night drew to a close, viewers couldn't shake the image of Kelly standing alone under the Idol spotlight, her voice carrying the weight of love, regret, loss, and healing all at once. In many ways, it was a full-circle moment. The woman who once stood on that same stage as a wide-eyed girl from Texas, clutching the microphone during the very first season of American Idol, returned decades later not just as a superstar, but as a woman who had lived, loved, lost, and survived. And in doing so, she reminded everyone watching of music's greatest power, its ability to take our deepest wounds and turn them into something beautiful, something that binds us together.